let's say that you are in your home and you've been out drinking and drove home, and the police got a call from somebody saying that you were drinking and driving, and they know your address and they know the bar where you were. And when they get to your house, the house is quiet. The car's in the driveway. It's warm to the touch, but you're in the house. Now the police come knocking on the door. They're going to ask you to step out of the house so they can talk to you further. They're generally not allowed to enter your home to get you. I mean, if they're chasing you at the time you run in your house, that's different. But if you're in your home, the car's parked, you're not being chased by the police when you get home, they generally can't go in your home. And they can't get you out of your home unless you voluntarily leave your home. So sometimes the police will knock on the door and say, hey, I need to talk to you about your car. Your car was in an accident. I want you to talk to you. Come out to the car. And they're just getting you out on the front stoop. Once you get on the front porch, they can arrest you then because you're in public. If you're in your house, you don't even have to answer the door, and they can't break it down to come get you if it's a misdemeanor DUI and if they weren't chasing you at the time. If they're chasing after you, you run in your house, they're going to probably come right in behind you. They're not going to stop and wait and get a warrant. If they want to get in your house, because they know you're there and they think you're driving under the influence, they would have to go to a judge, get a warrant that says they can break into your house to get you. Generally, they will not do that for a misdemeanor. They really have to justify it, and most judges are not going to sign that because, like you say, your house is your castle. I mean, it's really dangerous for people to start breaking into homes for not a good reason. Now, if you're out in your front yard after you've been drinking and driving, or even if you're out in your front yard and you're drinking at home but not driving, then they can arrest you because you're in public effectively. So I would not voluntarily leave my home. And if you were out driving, you get home and you drank, and you come out of your house after the police knock on the door and they arrest you for driving under the influence, then they're going to try to say that when you were driving, you're under the influence of alcohol. Because most people don't say, yeah, I got home and drank a half a bottle of vodka because I was so stressed out. They'll say, oh, I drank 2 hours ago. I had 2 beers 2 hours ago, and it was someplace, and I drove after that. And they're going to use that against you. If you're involved in a car accident, let's say, like a hit and run, you hit a curb or a tree or a sign and you drove home, the police can come to your door again and say, I want to talk to you about the accident you had, and ask you to step outside. If you step outside, they can arrest you if they have enough probable cause to arrest you for suspicion of driving under the influence. Now, if you were in an accident, someone was injured, another person, then that may be a felony, and they may be able to enter your home depending on the facts and circumstances. But normally they're not able to break a door down because of something that happened like that, and they weren't chasing you at the time. But you also don't have to voluntarily admit them to your home or invite them in, because once you invite them in, then they're in public. Anything they see when they walk in your house, they can potentially use it against you. Not that you have anything illegal, but you just don't want the people to be there or voluntarily allow them to be in a position where they might be violating your rights. Sometimes the police will get to your front door and say, please step out of your house. You say, no, thank you. And they'll say, if you don't come out, I'm going to get a warrant to get in there. And then you say, fine, go get a warrant. That means they have to go to a judge, write up the paperwork and say, this is why we believe we need to go in this house to get this evidence. The evidence may be your blood, but they want to get in your house to get the evidence. And the judge has to weigh whether or not that's sufficient probable cause to allow them to violate your rights, which is a pretty high standard. Or the judge is going to say, well, if you don't get the evidence, then you just have to proceed with the case without that evidence. They can't get your blood alcohol level. The thing about blood alcohol level is while you are drinking alcohol, your body is consistently getting rid of the alcohol. So if it's been long enough after you're driving, when they draw your blood alcohol level may be below a 0.08. And that's why they often want to get your blood testing done quicker, because then it's going to be more likely to be what your blood alcohol level was at the time of driving. But if you get home and you drink more, or you don't drink at all, and they don't get your blood drawn until like 8 or 10 hours later, then generally they can't prove that you had a 0.08 or higher blood alcohol level at the time of driving. That's very hard, very specific. But I definitely would not ever consent for the police to search your vehicle or your home without a warrant. Now, if they have a warrant, then they can search it, and you can challenge the warrant, but normally that's an independent judge who looks at the evidence presented by the officers, and as long as it's complete and doesn't contain fabrications, then generally a warrant gives them the right to do what they did. And that's about it with the Fourth Amendment. I mean, the Fourth Amendment is really important right, and you really don't want to give it up for any reason. So anytime they ask you permission to do something or ask you to voluntarily do something, you got to pause and say whether or not you want to do that. Even if you're totally innocent, many innocent people get arrested for crimes they didn't commit because they were so nice. They allowed the officers to bully them into it, or they allow the officers to gather enough evidence that they can then be used against them and file charges. So I would never voluntarily give up my rights. If they adhere to your rights and they meet all the criteria, then they can justify your arrest. Then your defense attorney can then fight whether or not something should be suppressed or whether or not they have sufficient evidence to prove their case beyond a reasonable doubt. But that's pretty much it for the Fourth Amendment and DUI investigations. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments, or any suggestions or for future videos for us to do, please let me know. Be happy to accommodate or answer your questions. Thank you very much, and be careful.